Hey guys, welcome to day 20 of my Vlogmas series, and today I thought we'd have a look at my favourite guitar pedal. The reason why I kind of went, my favourite is I'm kind of in the middle of things. When I first, this was on my initial list of things to talk about, and when I first wrote that, I had it in mind of like going, well, I know I'm just going to pick this one. But now I found that I'm actually leaning more towards another one of my pedals. But I thought we'd do a quick little run through of my pedals as well. So I've got a few. I haven't got hundreds, but I've got a few, and I really need to sort out a pedal board at some point so I can just like get them out and just play rather than getting one or two out at a time. But that's on me. I need to get that sorted before my brother, if he watches this, gets on my case. I know I need to get sorted with that. Anyway, so yeah, some of these, or most of these, if you're like a follower of the channel, will be aware of me having, and I may have introduced one way or the other, or mentioned in passing. But like the most recent one, sorry, I'm looking around at them. The most recent one I've got is the Ditto ×2 looper, and sadly this would probably, I imagine, I think this one's going to end up being one of my favorites, if not my favorite. But since getting it, I haven't actually had chance to play with it, and I really want to, because I can imagine doing a lot of fun things with this. So the plan is there. Just need to actually set aside the time to do it, and I think it will be better once I can actually get myself a pedal board sorted out, because then it won't be so much of a case of deciding which pedals I want to work with at that particular time. I can just have them all out, or most of them out, and then just go. So we'll see. I really need to experiment more with this, because I was really looking forward to getting this, and I got it, and I haven't actually played with it. So there's that, and I keep holding it the wrong way. There's that. So aside from that, I suppose looping, feedback, let's go on that track of reverb or delay or echo. Apparently this is labeled as a delay pedal, but it does have, no, it is just the delay pedal, I think. Either way, it's the EH1 Echo Head delay from Marshall, and I really like this pedal. I haven't got it out ready to show. I do have the Akai Head Rush E2 pedal, which I do quite like. I've really got nothing against it. I have it, but I've taken to using this one more often now. So I really like that, especially as I not long ago purchased a tap pedal for tap delay, so I can get this synced up without having to just use the knob to kind of guess the timing. Another one I have that I haven't used for a long time, but I used to use this a lot just for, I think, one, maybe two sections in one of my old bands, and that is the Boss GE7 equalizer. And basically you can see the settings on that. I use this as a high pass filter just to get that kind of tinny old radio kind of sound, just for certain parts. Really useful thing, but I never used it as like an actual graphic equalizer to like bring out the sound or the tone that I wanted. I just used it as an effect, but it's still a pedal that I really like. From there, I think I've still got one or two others hidden away somewhere, but I obviously don't use them very often because I can't remember what they are off the top of my head. I know I've got a compressor somewhere, but I don't really get on with it. I'm not a big fan of it. It doesn't seem to do what I want it to do. So that's, actually no. Yeah, get back to it. I was about to point out one of my other pedals, but I realised this is now going into the territory of most of these pedals, and that is distortion, overdrive, and fuzz. If you want to get into the kind of subsettings, I just consider them all distortion really. But so first off, we'll show my overdrive pedal, which is a Boss SD1 Super Overdrive. I really like this. There was a point where I almost made this my main one, but that was when I was going for a very particular sound. I do like the sound of this one, but it would not make it as being my main pedal these days. But it's great to add some color in there, and it is great for certain I'd say kind of trying to think of how to describe it best. I'd like to say like classic rock stuff, but it's not distorted enough. It's not I'd say like mix this with a certain amount of fuzz, and you'd get the kind of thing I'm trying to describe, which makes no sense. So I'm just going to stop. Anyway, next we'll go on to distortion. I have 3 distortion labeled pedals here with me right now. We'll start with this one. This is the pedal that I won through Rattle and Drum. I think I announced it at some point last year. Rattle and Drum in Derby, fantastic little music store. Yeah, it's the Fender Pugilist distortion pedal. Now, this is another one that I like to use to add color to songs, but wouldn't make it as being my main one. You can get some really good sounds out of this. My problem with it is that there's a kind of glassy quality that I seem to get out of using this, and that's especially with my Ibanez, but it is also present with my Telecaster. I've got a friend who insists that he wants to run through changing all the settings on this, because he thinks that we can actually get it somewhere where it loses that quality or lessens that quality, which would be nice. But in my playing around, it always seems to have this kind of glassy quality, which isn't really for me, which is why it's more of something to add color or thicken up sounds rather than being at the forefront. But still, it's not a bad pedal. It's just that little thing would be nice if I could take it away. Going on a similar theme, I got this TC Electronic Dark Matter distortion pedal. This is another one that it's not a terrible distortion pedal, but it's another one that I just use to add color to things. Again, thickening out sections of songs so that you have instead of it just being one distortion sound or one fuzz sound or whatever, I can go like between guitars, between effects, and it just enriches the overall sound, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. But again, I can't even pinpoint what it is about this one, but this is another one that I wouldn't set as being my main distortion, but it's not a terrible one. So I do like to use it, and it does appear about as often as the Pugilist in my tracks. So finally, out of the 3 distortions, as we've already gone through 2, so yeah, this is the 3rd. This is probably my oldest serving pedal, coming to think about it right now, and that is the Boss DS1 Distortion. A pretty standard one, I believe, for a lot of guitarists, at least back in the day. I don't know so much about now, but I think one of the reasons why I got this, I'm pretty sure I heard somewhere that Kurt Cobain used one of these. I could be wrong about that. I haven't read up on it for a while, but it was also one that I could afford at the time, and I liked it when I first got it, and then I went through a period where I really did not like it. The kind of distortion that came through with this was just really thin and trying to think of the word, kind of gritty, I guess. I don't know how to describe it, but not gritty. It's definitely not gritty. I can't think of the word to describe it, but I just really didn't get on with it, and I couldn't find a tone or a particular type of distortion out of this that I could get on with. So during that period, I just used the distortion that I've got in the distortion channel of the amp that I had at the time. So this one went into storage essentially, but this is where we get into the conundrum thing of my favorite guitar pedal. I probably would still go with this, but I have like an asterisk next to it, and this is my op amp Big Muff. I absolutely adore the sound of this. I think it's a fantastic pedal, and as soon as I found out it was being released, I really wanted to get one and check it out. And once I got it, I've done the demo video. I just fell in love with the sound of this pedal, and it's been present on every single one of my songs, my cover songs, that has distorted guitar on it. I think if it doesn't, it's probably being missed off one maybe, but I think it is actually present in all of them. Absolutely love this pedal, but I've recently found that I'm really liking this one again. And what I think it is one, I've found a way of setting this up to give me a type of distortion that I'm enjoying again. The thing that I don't like about this, and I think it might just be my pedal, this particular pedal, and it may be its age or what, but it hums. It has a hum and a buzz that I initially thought could have been an earthing problem with the power supply, so I used a battery instead, and it's still there. So I don't know if it's something to do with a connection inside, or it might just be these pedals. I've never had a second one to compare it. Whilst you're playing, it's not so bad because the sound of your guitar kind of drowns it out, but it's still a little irritating to have it there. This is where what I think I like about this is probably the only or one of few cons I have for this, and that is that this is basically like an all or nothing distortion or fuzz, which is just the way it's designed. Whereas with this one, I imagine you can get it with all the others as well, is that you can, at least I'm finding that you can get a few different kind of nuances out of it, and you can get some dynamics out of it, and depending on how you play, that dictates how the distortion sounds. So like you get different kind of layers or velocities of it, I guess maybe could be the word that you use to describe it. Whereas it seems to be with this, for the most part, it is just full on. This is the fuzz sound you get no matter how you play. You'll probably be able to tell a little bit of difference depending on how it is you play, but for the most part, it is just, like I say, a kind of all or nothing. And it's great for the most part, but there are certain things I like to do where it'd be nice if you could kind of control it a bit more with how you're playing. And there's probably fuzz pedals out there that can do that kind of thing, I imagine. I don't really have a huge amount of experience with a lot of fuzz pedals, just basically this one. But I would still argue that you have like this is my top, and this one at the moment at least is like very close second kind of thing. But that's, I was gonna say quick, I've gone longer than I usually do in these videos, but that's something of a quick run through of my pedals and my favorite pedals at the moment. But I'd like to get more. I already have two in mind that I'd like to get to be able to play with things. I'd like to get the Digitech Drop, because I think that could be quite fun to play around with, and the TC Electronic Brainwaves. I think I could have a lot of fun with that as well. But watch this space, more pedals to come whenever I can get hold of them. So, but yeah, that covers what I wanted to talk about in this video. let me know if you have any particular favourite pedals yourself, if you're a player, if there's anything that I've brought up here of my own pedals that you'd like to comment on or discuss, let me know. Otherwise, thank you guys very much for watching, and I shall see you in the next video. Bye.